what I thought we would do today is obviously you work with care and you work with what feels right for you. So I thought we would start lying down, and probably the whole class might be on our mat. So if you haven't got a mat, it's okay, you can get a towel. I mean, I know when I practice upstairs, I have carpet there, so you don't even really need a mat. But just as long as you have that bit of space around you, and being with the idea as well that your space, your mat, is yours. So whatever's kind of happened before or whatever might happen later, you're just giving yourself a bit of time outside of time to stop and recoup and to nourish yourself. So we're going to come down, and the soles of your feet are flat to the floor, and your knees are bent, and there's space between your knees and space between your ankles. And keep your eyes open so you can see what's above you, and as you roll your head from side to side, you're aware of the space around you and where you are. So when you bring your head to centre, if it feels okay, close your eyes and place your hands quite low on your belly if it's okay, quite low. And just being aware for a few moments just of that space or that position that you've been asked to take and that you decided to take. And when you breathe in, just being aware of your breath coming in. And you can, if you like, take a deep breath in. And if it feels okay, really send the breath out. When you breathe out, really send the breath out. And you can literally, if you like, you can pull the belly down, push the air out, and then relax the abdominals, and then just let your breath come in and deepen the breath that comes in. So you're filling up the whole of your lung, the whole of your chest. And then as you breathe out, pull or sink the belly down and push the air out. And then just relax those muscles that you pulled and let your breath come in. And now just breathe. Just be aware of your breath. And we're going to work with a position, we're going to work towards a position that kind of really does come from the centre of our body. So yoga is about connecting to something a little bit deeper. So not just doing movements, although that is a big part of it, but just allowing those movements to bring us to an awareness of something that's a bit deeper, something from the inside. So when we roll our head from side to side, being aware that you're not just rolling your head, you're moving your neck. When you roll the head to the left, can you feel anything going on in the right shoulder or around the shoulders? When you roll your head to the left, can you feel your right shoulder? So just starting to train your awareness and your attention, which increases focus and concentration. And then just bringing your attention, your head back to centre. Take your attention to the crown of your head. Imagine you can see or feel the crown of your head, and then the base of the skull, the back of the body, the base of the skull, and then the base of the neck at the back of the body. And as you lift, if it's okay, lift your chin up. Be aware that you're drawing the base of the skull towards the base of the neck, and underneath your hands, they're resting quite low on the belly. You can feel a response deep inside there. So really having that awareness that your neck connects all the way down through to the base of the spine, and then carefully draw or let go of the chin. And then underneath your hands, the lower abdominals will relax. And now we're going to do the opposite movements. You're going to draw the chin down. So that will lengthen the back of the neck. It will draw the base of the skull away from the base of the neck. Lengthen the back of the neck. And underneath your hands, maybe you can feel a response. The back of the waist might lift, but you don't have to do any of these things. And then just let your head relax. Or just go back to where it started. One more time. If you lift the chin up, draw the chin up, so you're really lengthening or opening the front of the throat, the front of the neck, but you're compressing the back of the neck. You might feel the back of the waist lift. And then let go. And do the opposite, draw the chin down towards the collarbones. You're keeping the back of the head on the floor. Draw the chin down. You might feel the back of the waist lift, something respond in the lower belly. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, let go of all those muscles. So with that movement, we're just trying to release a bit of tension around the neck and the shoulders and the jaw. So now consciously taking your attention to your jaw, and just drop the lower lip down and move your jaw from side to lower jaw from side to side. And no one can see you, so you can make as much of a face as you like. And then really circle the jaw. And notice any sounds that you might be able to hear just below the ear. So the jaw connects to the skull, and where the jaw connects is the joint, the mandibular joint, is just underneath the ears. So as you move your jaw from side to side, being aware of any sounds that you may hear in that joint. And tightness in our jaw will affect the skin that encases our skull. So if the jaw is tight, if you have tension in your jaw, that will create tension around the skin or what encases our skull, and that can increase pressure inside our head, which can give us headaches. So releasing your jaw, learning to release your jaw, is never a waste of time. And then just let the lips just gently come together and soften the lips. And there's loads of nerve endings in the lips that correspond to the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the part of our nervous system that quietens down, that slows us down. So really allow your lips to soften. Allow your lips to be soft. And if you can breathe in through the nose, breathe in through the nose. And if you can breathe out through the nose, breathe out through the nose. And then just take your hands a little bit higher, just to the base of the ribs, centre of the spine, and then just take the right arm up towards the ceiling. If you stretch up through the right arm, that will peel the right shoulder off the floor, and you might feel compression in the neck. Breathe in, and then as you breathe out, keep the arm up, but let the shoulder, the right shoulder, sink, and let the weight of the arm rest down into the shoulder. So we're going to slow our movements down in order to free up tension around the shoulders and the neck. And we're just going to start by circling the right wrist, a few times one way and then the other way. And then circle the elbow or the arm, so you're circling the whole arm, a few times one way and then the other way. And underneath your left hand, that area there, you're going to feel responses. So we're training ourselves to understand that the movement of the arm rests down through the shoulder and back through to the centre of the spine, and then stop moving the arm and just allow the weight of the arm to rest into the shoulder. So you stop and you feel and you notice. And now you're just going to move the shoulder, the right shoulder. And as you move the right shoulder, the back of the shoulder blade, whatever that means to you, as you circle the right shoulder, that will circle the arm. And you circle the arm out to the side, in and round and down. Any kind of words that mean anything to you. And then reverse the circles. And if anything, if your shoulders are anything like me, you might feel crunching or tightness. It might even feel quite painful. But it's like you're giving yourself a deep massage in and around the scapula or the shoulder blades. And then stop. With your attention or your hand resting on your left hand resting on the ribs, lower the right arm down to your side. Take the right arm up. Be aware of the space between the right ear and the right shoulder as you take the right arm on the floor above your head. So we're trying to change nothing around the ribs. We're trying to change nothing with that space around the ear and the shoulder as you lower the arm down to your side, as you raise the arm up and overhead. So we're finding that connection not just through to the wrist and the elbow and the arm, but to the shoulder and to the hand that's resting on the centre of the spine as we raise the arm up and we take the arm over. And next time the arm comes down to your side, just let the right hand rest onto the base of the ribs and take the left arm up. And now we're going to stretch up through the left arm. Now as you stretch up through the left arm, take your attention to the right hand. Now underneath your right hand, that area there sinks, responds, tightens. So now we're going to let go of pushing, stop pushing the left arm and just let the weight of the left arm rest down into the shoulder. Then underneath your right hand, your ribs, the centre of your body, just begins to rest. Now it's really important that you kind of come into contact with this area just sometimes in our practice. And ultimately it will just start to wake up. The ribs are surrounded by muscles, and between the muscles and inside the ribs is your heart and your lungs. So the more freedom you have around the ribs, the more easily you can breathe. Or more without effort you can breathe, I should say. Now circle the left wrist, you're still breathing, you're still feeling quiet inside and around the chest area. Circle the left arm. So they're good exercises at just releasing tension in the shoulders and around the neck, as well as freeing up the area around the lungs. And then if you stop circling the arm and just take your attention to the shoulder, the left shoulder, draw the left shoulder down and then circle the left shoulder. Draw the left shoulder down and then circle the left shoulder. So you're really working into the back of the shoulder. And the back of our shoulders, the other part of the spine and the back of our body in particular, are really tight, strong muscles. And they get tighter and stronger as we go through life because we don't really ever do these kind of things unless you do yoga, I suppose. And then circle the shoulder in the opposite direction. So really being aware of what's going on at the back of your body, the back of the shoulder, and then stop and being aware of the space between the left ear and the left shoulder. Lower the left arm down to your side, keeping a sense of the space between the left ear and the left shoulder. Take the left arm up and overhead. So you're really slowing things down and training yourself to be aware of being patient, I suppose, slowing down, because our days are so busy, completing lists or having to do this or going there or waiting for this phone call or that email. Whatever we're doing now, all you're doing is lowering the arm down to your side. All you're doing is taking your arm up and overhead, and you're feeling how that feels, experiencing the feelings in your body. And that's when we really train ourselves to become present, to be here, and that's when we learn to rest. So we don't have to always pull or force or do anything. Muscles really, or our body really responds the most when we stop and when we rest. And the next time your arm comes down, just let the arm or the hand come to rest back on the base of the ribs and just feel your breath. And then we're going to draw the right knee in. Take the hands underneath the right knee and ease the right knee down. Circle the right ankle a few times one way and then the other way. And then we're just going to take the right leg up towards the ceiling. Place the right hand on the right knee. Now underneath your hand, soften the knee. And then again, circle the right ankle. So you can feel, if you take your right hand to the back of the knee, you can feel that just by circling the ankle, you can start to mobilise the knee, the ligaments and the tendons and the spaces in the back of the knee. And then stop. And let the right hand now come to rest on the right hip. And as you circle, carefully circle the right leg. It doesn't have to be a big circle. Imagine there's a circle above the heel and you're just following that. As you circle the right leg, feel the hip. And then take your hand to the centre of the spine, sort of where the ribs are or where the navel is. And as you circle the right leg, perhaps going in the opposite direction, feel the response underneath your hand. So we're starting to wake up core deep muscles that attach the ankle through the knee, through the hip to the centre of the spine. And we're just trying to wake them up. We don't have to exercise them or anything like that. That kind of just happens because we're doing these other things. So we're waking our body up. And we're training ourselves to notice. And then when you're ready, stop, just with the leg above you, and then take the left arm up. So right leg is up, left arm is up. And then we're going to carefully, as you take the left arm on the floor above your head, lower the right leg to the floor. And then as you raise the left arm, you're going to raise the left leg. And then you're just going to carry on doing that. Maybe breathe in, then as you breathe out, lower leg, lower arm. And the in-breath, maybe you can draw back up. Use the left foot on the floor to kind of ground you or just find purchase with something that's just quite stable. And you're just raising the arm and the leg and lowering, just alternate. And where your right hand is resting on the centre of the spine, just feel that connection deep inside there. So you're working core deep muscles that will help your posture, that will strengthen your lower back, that will strengthen those core muscles just by doing something carefully with awareness. Then the next time the leg and the arm comes up, bend the right knee, take both hands underneath the knee and ease the knee down just as you started. So we're going to do the same on the other side. So let go of the right knee, let the right foot come down, draw the left knee in, take both hands underneath the left knee, ease the knee down, circle the ankle, left ankle. A few times one way and then the other way. And it's always a good idea to circle ankles because ankles can be really strong, tight joints, and just by loosening or freeing up the ankle, you can find a bit of freedom around the knee joints and the hips. And then when you're ready, stop and take the left leg up. Let the left hand rest on the left knee. And now as you circle the ankle again, you're just feeling that connection underneath the left knee. Take the hand to the back of the knee, and as you circle the left ankle, you can feel that connection through the back of the knee. And then stop, and then allow the hands to rest on the hips. Imagine there's a circle above the left heel, and you just start to circle the heel. So just feel that movement through the hips. You don't have to do big movements in order to find comfort in your joints. Because yoga isn't about kind of, well, yoga builds strength and yoga makes you supple, but it's not about anything else but just feeling what's going on in your body and finding those connections and working as a whole, bringing the whole of your body together. And then when you're ready, you stop, just with the left leg above you, and take the right arm above you. Now soften the left knee, so you're not tightening anything up. Soften the right elbow, so the weight of the elbow or the arm rests into the shoulder, the weight of the left leg rests into the hip, and the left hand can rest on the centre of the spine. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, the right arm goes overhead, the left leg lowers. And on the in-breath, you raise. So you're not pulling the abdominals in, you're not doing anything. You're just feeling the response. Because your body will work, the muscles in your body will work. If you just give them a bit of time and a bit of care, your body is far more intelligent than what your head thinks it is. Or I shouldn't say your head, my head, our head. So you're just, on the out-breath, you're lowering the leg and the arm. On the in-breath, you're raising back up. And you're feeling the connection underneath your hands, deep inside the centre of the spine. And you're not trying to stretch and you're not trying to force. You're just being aware of your body as it moves and as it is. And then when you're ready, stop with the leg and the arm up. Breathe a few breaths, relax the arm, relax the leg. Take the hand around the back of the left knee and just ease the knee down. Bend the knee, ease the knee down. And then when you're ready, just bring the left foot on the floor, so both knees are bent, hands can rest on the centre of spine. Drop the knees to the left. Breathe in, bring the knees to centre. Drop the knees to the right. Breathe in, come back to centre. And just do that maybe once or twice more, so just rocking. Or mobilising the pelvis, the lower half of the body, but being aware of how the upper half just responds in relation to. And the next time you come over onto one side, whichever side is comfortable, roll over and come up into all fours. Well done. So you're in all fours. So wrists more or less underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And we're just going to shake the wrists off a little bit. Shake them off, and then we're just going to send the top of the head a little bit further forward past the wrist so you can feel the weight going down into the wrist, but you don't have to push. Tuck the toes under, and as you ease the hips back a little bit, you can feel the stretch through the soles of the feet and through the knees and through the hips and through the lower back. So you're rocking forward carefully, you're easing back towards the hips. And you're just mobilising yourself and finding that weight that can go down into the hands. You're finding that weight that can go down through the feet and through the hips. So you just, you know, we've changed position, so you just allow yourself to acclimatise, I suppose is the word. And then coming back to centre, we're just going to walk the hands round towards the right till you can maybe see your right foot, so your gaze goes towards your right foot. Come to centre, then walk the hands round towards the left so you can see your left foot. So you're just doing that a few times, walking round. And it's just like a bit of a side stretch as well through the side of the body, just walking round. That's it. And then when you're ready, come back to centre. And then from here, just circle the shoulders, much the same as what we did when we were lying on the floor. So just getting that sense of connection up through the shoulders and down through the wrists. And then stop. Now take your attention to your right shoulder. Now imagine the right shoulder is coming up as you bring the right elbow down. And then come back to where you started. Imagine the left shoulder is coming up as you bring the left elbow down. And then come up to where you started. Then as the right elbow comes down, keep that sense of connection into the right shoulder and turn the gaze to look past the left shoulder. And then bring the elbow back up. As the left elbow comes down, turn the gaze to look past the right shoulder. Try not to sink at the back of the waist or through the hips. And just continue doing that. So it's a really good one at finding space and length between the shoulder and the neck. Just one more time each side perhaps, just kind of see where you are. And then just come back to centre. And now we're going to take our attention to the back of the waist. Now you're just going to imagine that part there can be drawn up. You don't have to do anything sort of consciously, but just imagine the back of the waist can be drawn up. And then just lift up the right knee and lower. And then lift up the left knee and bring it back down. And now this time, taking your attention to the back of the waist, imagine that from the back of the waist you draw the right knee up and then lower. And then from the back of the waist you draw the left knee up. So you're keeping those muscles in the spine really strong. And now keeping your attention on the back of the waist, can you draw both knees up? Just a little bit off the floor, just a little bit. Just hold for a few moments, try not to sink around the back of the waist, trying to widen between the shoulders, and then carefully lower the knees. And then flatten the feet and ease your hips back towards your heels. Bring the elbows a little bit closer towards the knees, move the shoulders. And then just walk your hands a little bit further away. So not so far that you're stretching, but when you lift the hips, maybe the wrists a little bit further forward than the shoulders. So we're going to keep that sense of coming up through the shoulders as you carefully ease and bring the elbows down. So you can still lift up one elbow at a time. And just see, is there a possibility that you can allow your head to hang so the neck can lengthen? Come onto the tips of the toes. Now take your attention to the back of the waist. Now just can you feel as though the back of the waist can round and that can lift up one knee at a time. Lifting and lowering. And then allow the knees to come down, flatten the feet and ease your hips back towards your heels. So if that's enough for you, you don't do any more than that. If to go into the full kind of elbow thing, you can watch or you can just kind of follow and just kind of see what kind of how you feel about doing it. So that the closer the elbows are to the knees, the harder it's going to be. So you can take the hands a little bit further forward. Now first of all, really have that sense that you're widening between the shoulder blades. So imagine the right shoulder, the outside edge of the right shoulder, the outside edge of the left shoulder, widening away from the neck as you carefully bring the elbows down. Be aware of the back of the waist rounding as though there's strings attached to the back of the waist. They're drawing the back of the waist up. So you might feel something inside the belly lift and really be aware of that. You can experiment, allow the top of the head to hang. There's space between the crown of the head and the floor. If there isn't, don't do any more than this. You can lift up one knee at a time. If you can't, don't do any more than this. Come back to where you started. Now again, start again. So you imagine the elbows are resting down into the floor, but the shoulders can come up. And then just see, is there a possibility of lifting both knees as though from the centre of the spine, you're coming up. And the space between the elbows and the knees is as wide as possible. That allows the heels to rest down. So you're coming up through the spine away from the floor, but the heels rest down towards the floor. And you have that real sense of strength, I suppose, around the shoulders. And you make sure you breathe, and you ever so carefully, when you're ready, ease the knees back down, flatten the feet, ease your hips back towards your heels. Make light fists with the hands to support the head, and let go of the weight of your head, because your head is heavy. And then just take one hand away, see if the head will lower. Take that hand away maybe and see if the forehead comes onto the floor. So just seeing where you are with it. And you feel your breath. And if possible, we'll go one more time. So we come into all fours. Take the hands a little bit further forward. The further away the elbows are from the knees, the kind of more accessible the position is. So we're going to, in all fours, first of all, lift up one knee at a time. You're on the tips of the toes. Now if you rock the heels from side to side, you can feel that relationship through the knees and through the hips. So then stop, come to centre. If you push your heels away, that will take your spine back. If you draw the heels in towards the knees, that will send the top of the head forward. So just patterning that relationship from the heels all the way up through the spine to the top of the head. So then just come back to centre. Take your attention to the centre of the spine, or the back of the waist, the lowest parts of the ribs. Now that part there wants to feel as wide and open as possible. And it's just an imagining at first perhaps. So when you bring the elbows down, nothing changes in the back of the waist. There's that feeling of widening, rounding, coming up away from the floor. The space between the collarbones and the knees is as long and lengthened, whatever the word is, as possible. So if possible, and you can lift the knees, you're trying to send the knees as far away from the base of the throat as possible. You're trying to send the heels as far away from the elbows as possible. So the movement is back, away from the fingertips at first. So the movement through the heels is going down, but from the spine, we're coming up and widening. And you make sure that you're breathing. And then when you're ready, you just lower the knees, ease back into child's pose, and just see how that feels. Revisit that whole idea. Can you bring the forehead on the palms, or can you bring the forehead a little bit lower? And you let go. And you let your body, when I say you let go, you let the body be given down to the floor, because when we've done that inversion, it's quite a strong inversion, sort of, you probably felt that. We're fighting against gravity, we're building strength, we're coming up away from the floor. Now, we're just giving ourselves down to the floor. So we don't always have to fight. Sometimes we can just give. And then when you're ready, just coming back onto your back. The whole thing is on the mat tonight. Coming onto your back. And just as you started, soles of the feet flat to the floor and the knees are bent. And if it's okay, draw both knees in towards you. Hands can lightly rest on the knees and cross your ankles. And then just as we did before, take the arms up towards the ceiling, but you're not stretching. The weight of the arms rests into the shoulders. Move your head from side to side, so freeing up around the neck and the jaw. Cross the arms, so the right hand comes on the left elbow, left hand on the right. And just close the eyes. If it's okay, close your eyes. Be aware of your breath coming in. And as you breathe out ever so carefully, sway the knees over towards the left. But the elbows and the shoulders stay just as they are. On the in-breath, come back to centre. And as you breathe out, ease the knees over towards the right. But the elbows and the shoulders and the arms and the head stay just as it is. And you just continue easing the knees from side to side with an awareness of what's going on in the upper part of your spine. And then when you're ready and you come to centre, this time, when the knees ease over perhaps to the right, ease the elbows and turn the gaze to the left. And if it's too much for you with your feet off the floor, bring the feet on the floor. Come to centre. And as the knees ease over towards the left, the elbows and the head go over towards the right. So it's quite a lovely twist in the centre of the spine. And the knees don't have to come to the floor. When you draw the knees up, you're using the abdominal muscles. So it's quite the slower you are, the more strength is involved. As the knees go over towards the right, the elbows move to the left. And then when you next come up to centre, just stop. Uncross the ankles, bring the feet on the floor. And just see if you can take the arms overhead. That will just draw the breath a little bit higher into the upper part of the spine, or chest I should say. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, take the arms up and bring the arms down. Down by your side, palms facing up. And then just stop. Let the arms rest. And just let your breath return. Being aware of your breath coming in and being aware of your breath leaving, and just knowing that there is that constant pattern or rhythm going on inside your body, no matter how you're moving, no matter what's going on around you, your breath will always be with you. And in order to bring yourself to the present and to a place where there is no problem really, or there is no discomfort perhaps, you bring your attention to the breath and you allow yourself time to slow down and to rest. So as our time together just comes towards its close, just placing your hands back onto the base of your ribs. So just as you started, circle your shoulders around a little bit, maybe move the head. Just opening your eyes so you know where you are, or if you've decided to stay here a little bit longer, then obviously you well, you can just turn me off and you can stay a little bit longer. If not, coming over onto your side, resting, taking your time before, when you're ready, coming to sit up. Coming back to the rest of your evening. So have a, thank you, thank you.